Hello space fans and welcome back to the channel. Today we're re-looking at a mission that marks humanity's next giant leap beyond Earth orbit, the upcoming Artemis II mission by NASA, 4 astronauts, a lunar flyby, a spacecraft called Integrity. It's the first time since the Apollo era that humans will venture around the moon, so buckle up, we're going deep into what Artemis II is, how it's being built, who will fly it, and why it matters. Let's blast off. First up, what is Artemis II? It's the first crewed flight of the Artemis program, and the first time astronauts will leave low Earth orbit and journey around the moon since 1972. The mission is planned for early 2026 and will last about 10 days. Now you might be wondering why a lunar flyby instead of a landing. Because Artemis II is a test flight. It's a crucial demonstration of deep space capability, life support systems, navigation, communication, and radiation protection. NASA describes it as 4 astronauts will venture around the moon. The first crewed mission on NASA's path to establishing a long-term presence at the moon. With Artemis II, NASA will prove its systems in the real environment of deep space with an actual crew aboard. That means the stakes are much higher than for missions to the International Space Station. Let's talk hardware. The mission uses NASA's Super Heavy Launch Vehicle, the Space Launch System, or SLS, and the Orion spacecraft. For this mission, Orion has been officially named Integrity by its crew, and we'll get to the meaning of that name in a minute. Orion is the capsule that will carry the astronauts, and it's paired with a service module built by the European Space Agency for propulsion, life support, and power. Orion has to sustain a crew for days in deep space, dealing with radiation, extreme temperatures, and communication delays. Its heat shield must survive re-entry speeds of over 11 kilometers per second. On the launch side, this is the first time the SLS rocket will fly with a crew. In short, Artemis II is as much about proving the systems as it is about the destination. So why the name Integrity for the Orion spacecraft? The crew chose it to reflect the values guiding the mission, integrity in design, in testing, and in execution. It also speaks to the integrity they show to one another, to global partners, and to how we treat space, Earth, and future generations. This name captures the idea that the mission is built on the work of thousands of people across continents, and that the trust in these systems must be absolute when you carry human lives beyond Earth's protective envelope. It's not just a rocket. It's integrity, carrying human lives, hopes, and a future of exploration. And human beings are what make this real. The Artemis II crew consists of 4 astronauts, 3 from NASA and 1 from the Canadian Space Agency. The official roster is Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialist Christina Koch from NASA, along with mission specialist Jeremy Hansen from the Canadian Space Agency. This mix reflects international cooperation and diversity. Victor Glover has served on the ISS. Christina Koch holds the record for the longest single spaceflight by a woman. Reed Wiseman is an experienced naval aviator, and Jeremy Hansen will be the first Canadian astronaut on a lunar mission. Their job is to test all the systems, conduct experiments, and demonstrate that everything works with people on board. They'll be living together in a small capsule for about 10 days, so teamwork and trust are absolutely critical. So, what are the specific objectives? First, they need to verify Orion's life support systems in deep space. Second, they'll test navigation and guidance systems far from Earth, beyond the reach of GPS. Third, they'll test Orion's heat shield during its high-speed return from lunar distances. Fourth, they'll verify the performance of the SLS rocket during a crewed launch. And finally, they'll collect science data from a unique vantage point, traveling farther than any human has been since the Apollo era. This is a critical mission. Any future lunar landing, like Artemis III or missions to Mars, will rely on the systems proven here. If Orion can't reliably support humans around the moon and back, then landing them safely becomes much riskier. So Artemis II is a stepping stone, a trial run, and a proving ground. We've covered the background, hardware, and people. After a short break, we'll dive into the mission timeline and what this all means for the future. Welcome back. In Part 2, we're going deep into the flight path of Artemis II, how the mission unfolds from launch to splashdown, what the crew will experience, and then we'll zoom out and ask, what's next for the Moon, for Mars, and for us? Let's lift off again. Before liftoff, the SLS rocket and the Orion spacecraft integrity must be integrated and tested at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The launch window is tight, constrained by the Moon's position, spacecraft readiness, and even space weather. As of late 2025, NASA is targeting no earlier than April 2026. The countdown procedures will be intense, combining Apollo-era drama with modern automation and safety systems. The rocket will lift off from Launch Complex 39B, with Orion sitting on top, ready for its journey. After launch, the first hour is busy with stage separations and getting into orbit. But what makes this mission special is that Orion won't head straight to the Moon. First, it will perform a set of orbits around Earth at increasing altitudes to test its systems. For instance, it will perform a high Earth elliptical orbit that takes it thousands of miles away. During this time, the crew will check life support, propulsion, and navigation. Then comes the translunar injection burn, where the service module fires its main engine to send Orion toward the Moon. This is the point of no return. Once that burn is complete, they are committed to the lunar flyby. Now we enter the heart of the mission, the lunar flyby. Orion will approach the Moon, pass behind it, losing direct communication with Earth temporarily, and loop around to begin its return. This mission will set a new record for the farthest humans have traveled from Earth. The crew will see the far side of the Moon, a view only a few spacecraft have ever captured. During this phase, they'll be busy monitoring systems, collecting data, and running drills. After the flyby, Orion will be on a free return trajectory, using the Moon's gravity to sling it back toward Earth, a fuel-efficient path used since the Apollo missions. On the way home, the service module will be jettisoned, and the Orion capsule alone will perform a high-speed re-entry. It will hit the atmosphere at nearly 11 kilometers per second, with its heat shield enduring intense temperatures. Parachutes will deploy, and Orion will splash down in the Pacific Ocean after a roughly 10-day mission. Recovery teams will retrieve the crew and the capsule, and all the data gathered will feed directly into planning for Artemis III, the first lunar landing of this new era. So why should you care? Artemis II is paving the way for future lunar landings. It marks the return of humans to deep space, a key step for eventual Mars missions. It's about reducing risk by testing new technologies with a crew on board. It also showcases international cooperation, with partners from Europe and Canada playing vital roles. And above all, it's about inspiration. This is humanity returning to the Moon. The images and the human story will inspire a new generation of explorers, scientists, and engineers. Of course, there are challenges. The heat shield on the uncrewed Artemis I flight had some issues that NASA is working to fix. Launch delays can increase costs and complexity, and deep space radiation is a serious concern. But every challenge is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and build better. What happens after Artemis II? The next milestone is Artemis III, the first crewed lunar landing targeted for the late 2020s. The systems validated on this flight will be essential for that mission and for building a sustainable presence on the Moon. You can watch the launch live on NASA's website and follow mission updates on social media. I encourage you to track the milestones from crew training to launch day to splashdown. This is a journey for all of us. Thanks for watching. If you're as excited about our return to the Moon as I am, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future updates on Artemis and beyond. See you next time.